Pancake chairs in the back. We're happy to have everyone here. Now that the Rockies have won 10 in a row, it makes sense that our thoughts would turn to the possibility of God's existence. My name is Robert Metcalf. I'm chair of the philosophy department here at the University of Colorado, Denver. And it's my privilege to moderate the debate this evening and to introduce our two speakers. John Byrne is the pastor of student ministries at the Rock in the Southwest. He has an undergraduate degree in biblical studies from Northwestern St. Paul, Minnesota. He's been a pastor for 17 years. He's been married for 17 years and has 2 children. So we welcome him to the debate. He's going to post video of the debate, and you can search under YM Theology under YouTube. This will be available in a couple weeks or so. Our second speaker is Marvin Straus. He's the co-founder of the Boulder Atheists. He's one of the founders of the Colorado Coalition of Reason, or COCOR. It's one of our sponsors for the event this evening. An umbrella group of 14 secular organizations. He's the producer of 2 atheist educational videos, The Journey of Life from the Non-Believer's Point of View, and The Last Presentation, which was distributed to 16,000 U.S. high schools and 2,300 academic and public libraries. He was the leader of the 2008 effort to put 11 billboards in Colorado that said, "Don't believe in God, you are not alone." And that's also with COCOR.org organization. He has been interviewed many times as an atheist spokesperson on talk radio, television, and in the printed media. Just to let you know the format for the debate tonight, first we'll have a 15-minute opening statement from each. We'll start with Pastor Byrne and Marvin Straus. We'll go afterward. We'll then have 10 minutes from each, a rebuttal to the other speaker, and then 10 minutes from each closing remarks. So you know the format. Also, if you did get the slips of paper to compose a question, once we're done with the closing statements, we will have time for a question and answer period. Unfortunately, the answers to the questions will only be 2 minutes long in each case. So anyway, that is the format that we have. A couple issues of technology. One, we ask that you please turn your cell phones off for the duration of the debate. That's a popular request. So please turn your cell phones off. Also, if anyone has on hand a full HDMI cable, I'm sure you do. Our folks in the back could use a full HDMI cable. Okay, and then just to, as a final note, our sponsoring agencies, I've already mentioned the Colorado Coalition of Reason. There's also Master Plan Ministries, AMP, and Rock of the Southwest, also Metro State Atheists. So without further ado, I'll turn our time.
I just want to point out to the young woman adjusting the volume, it's so loud that it's ringing it. You could bring it down about 5%. Thank you.
All right, well, then without further ado, please join me in welcoming Pastor Byrne.
I think my biggest concern tonight is how good Marvin looks in his suit. Now I know why you wanted to wear one. Thank you so much for having us. It's been a privilege to get to know and work with Marvin, the Metro State Atheist, Amp, and everyone else involved. It is my pleasure to be here, and I thank you very much. I hope that you have come excited about answering the question, does God exist? And what we're going to try to do tonight is I'm going to try to present facts and ideas and arguments that will show that God does indeed exist in our effort to make sense of the world in which we live. And so, without further ado, let's jump right in. The first argument that I'd like to present is this. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. Let's take that step by step through the process. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. This is intuitive to us. We operate every day understanding that when things happen, something, somewhere, caused it. Could you imagine if this was not the case? The kind of world we would live in. If you were driving down I-25 and suddenly appeared out of nowhere an elephant in the middle of the road. That's ridiculous. But this is the kind of idea that things don't come from nothing. Nothing does not produce anything. So we have to ask the question, why is there something rather than nothing? I mean, perhaps it would be great as a student if you were to find out that an A simply appeared in the grade book. It came from nothing out of nowhere. But we know that if a professor saw an A in the grade book, he would assume that someone put it there. Perhaps it was a student cheating. Perhaps it was an error on somebody's part. But either way, he would assume that there was a cause for the A appearing in the grade book. Why is it then that oftentimes we are asked to believe that the universe actually came from nothing? That this happened only once and has never ever happened again? This is what we are often asked to believe. The law of cause and effect is assumed. It's assumed by science. It's assumed as we live each day. Science is built on the idea that when we observe something happening, an event that takes place, something beginning, that there is some kind of cause somewhere. As a matter of fact, without the law of cause and effect, science would be nothing. It wouldn't make any sense. We would not be able to make observations and then come up with theories about why this happened. The very way we're built, the very way we operate from a day-to-day basis assumes the law of cause and effect. The universe began to exist. Now this is a difficult proposition for many of us. But I want us to think about infinity. Growing up in grade school, we're told that when we subtract something from itself, we get zero. This is true sometimes with infinity. If we subtract infinity from infinity, we get zero. However, I want you to imagine for a moment that I came prepared to play marbles tonight, because I'm a kid at heart and I like to play marbles. And let's assume that I have an infinite number of marbles. Some of them are yellow. Some of them are red, some of them are green, and some of them are orange. As a matter of fact, I have an equal number of marbles in my infinite number of marbles that are different colors. So each color has the same amount in that grouping. Now let's say that I was going to play marbles with some of you, and so I gave this color, the yellow marbles, to this person. I gave the red marbles to this person, and the green marbles to this person. But I like orange, so I kept the orange marbles. How many marbles would I have? Some of you are thinking a little bit. The answer is infinity. So I have simply taken infinity, subtracted infinity 3 times, and I still have infinity left. It doesn't make very much sense. This is the point. Infinity sometimes can be used on paper in a mathematical equation. But when we try to apply infinity to real life, it doesn't work. And that's the point. If we're standing here, and I'm standing here presenting arguments for the existence of God, and the universe is infinite, then the two things are mutually impossible. One of them cannot be. Because if there was not a beginning to the universe, then we could not move forward in time and arrive at this point where I'm standing in front of you presenting arguments for the existence of God. The universe requires a beginning. Not only is there philosophical arguments for the beginning,